Welcome to another episode of The Simpsons Did It. I'm your host, Steven Skolansky.
And I'm your co-host, Robert Skolansky.
So we're headed to the old folks' home.
Old people.
Where people go to die. Or live. I mean, maybe they want to live there. I don't know. Seems like the Springfield retirement castle's a little bit run down and sketchy.
Yeah, I mean, old people. That's all I have.
They smell.
We'll learn.
Okay, we'll get to that as we'll learn. Okay, Robert, what do you got for us today?
So we are talking about season 2, episode 17, Old Money. Who doesn't love some old money? I wish we had some old
new money. The crisp $100 bills that you get every once in a while that look like they've been forged and just pressed out.
But we're not talking about currency. We're talking about an old person having some money.
Yeah, our parents are old. They have money. Maybe we'll get some of that old money.
Maybe. This episode aired on March 28th, 1991. So we're as I said, this is episode 17. So we're closely approaching the end of season 2, which is awesome. Recap: Grampa loses his love, leaving him with a heavy heart and a heavy wallet for the money in her will. So Grampa's a gold digger?
I mean,
not really, as we'll talk in this episode, but apparently he's a gold digger.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a random episode.
It really is.
It really is. And to have a Grampa-centric episode, it's
very rare.
Good to kind of, yes, you don't really get that too often, but one thing I actually learned by listening to episode of Bart of Darkness, which is a guest we're going to soon have on our podcast here. He was talking with, I think it was Al Jean about, oh no, it wasn't Al Jean. It was, I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but they were talking about a formula that they kind of introduced. Yeah. After season 2, it was, a Krusty episode, a Sideshow Bob episode, a Bart, 2-3 Bart episode. Cause season 2 works so well with all the, episode heavy character episodes. Yeah. They're like, oh, this seems like a formula that would work. So why don't we keep it going? And this one obviously centric on Grampa.
Yeah. I mean, I like some of the side character centric episodes. Some of them are pretty good. Some of them fall flat. This one we'll discuss at the end where I feel it falls. Yep. Chalkboard gag this week: I will not grease the monkey bars. God, Bart is such a jerk. It's a jerk thing to do.
I mean, okay. To be fair, I feel like I've done this once or twice.
You greased monkey bars?
Not with grease. Yes, but not with grease. I use like snow, like in the winter, just put like snow up on it so your gloves don't stick and they slip. Or
why would you do that?
I'm trying to remember. Because it's funny. This is a funny way to get into detention. I mean, come on.
Wait, why do you want to go to detention?
Okay, I don't know if Bart at this point is used to going to detention.
Sure.
So he's all in on all these pranks now.
Sure.
And you look at Milhouse. Now, I want to know who he tricked into going onto the monkey bars that were greased up.
Maybe he didn't trick Milhouse, maybe he didn't trick anybody. Maybe he just put the grease on there and watched from afar for chaos. Maybe Bart is the Joker.
No, maybe that would be really funny. Now, maybe it was something like, okay, remember how when we used to use the monkey bars, we'd skip, a couple monkey bars as we were skipping along.
Oh yeah.
So you grease up like every third one or every other one, and so you go on it first, and you're just skipping you're skipping the bars as you go, and then all your friends are like, oh, you did so great, and they go on the monkey bars, and they hit the one that's greased and fall flat on their ass in the sand or wood chips or concrete, depending on what park you went to.
Yeah, right. Jeez. Who puts concrete underneath monkey bars?
Poorly developed cities.
Yeah. Couch gag this week is another repeat. Grandpa sleeping on the couch. Simpsons run in to wake him up, and he kind of screams at him. They
And he doesn't know where he is.
He doesn't know where
He
he is.
doesn't know where he is. He's lost.
I mean, this
Which almost fits in with this episode,
it
though.
does. I was just about to say that. However, can we get some new couch gags soon? Like, when do they start not repeating couch gags?
Well, to be fair, I'm watching season 32 out on the new Fox network here,
Yeah.
and there is no chalkboard, no couch, nothing.
Really?
It goes The Simpsons straight into the episode.
Wow.
So long for the days of couch gags, regardless of if they were repeats.
See, I work Sunday nights and I always forget about watching stuff, so I haven't watched the new stuff yet. Partly because I'm watching Sunday Night Football because it's kind of part of my job to keep close eye on football games. But yeah, I feel like they've done that a lot though, like the last 5 years, where they don't do a whole lot of chalkboard, they don't do a whole lot of couch gags.
We need some fresh ideas. Fresh ideas.
Yes. So we start out, we pan over to the Springfield retirement castle where the elderly can hide from the inevitable. But can they really?
Yep. Well, remember, they don't want outside influences coming into the old folks' home. And so the sign, I think, kind of merges with the sediment that's on the walls on the inside.
Yeah. I suppose. So we see the Simpsons drive up to the retirement castle where they drop Grampa off after their visit with him, and they visit a liquor store because they don't like they don't like you can clearly tell in this instance they don't like spending time with Grandpa. So they got to spend time with him, and it sounds like they go to the liquor store often. And as they drop him off, Grandpa Simpson goes, "Thanks for the beef jerky." Like, that's what they bought him. Oh, yeah, you get beef jerky. That's what you get.
Well, yeah, as we learn, when he goes into his room, he has a drawer full of it, which seems to me that it's the standard. Every time they take Grampa out, no matter where they go, they give him beef jerky. Yeah. Now, it's funny that they visit a liquor store because Homer probably just ran out of Duff and needed more.
Yeah.
And, it's spending time with your grandpa, regardless of where you go. Now, growing up, we spent time with our grandpa a lot.
Yeah.
But we never, to be fair, I guess we never really went too many places. It was mostly at the condo. I mean, I went golfing with them a lot, but besides that, I don't think we spent much time going places.
No, I mean, we went to lunch. I mean, I remember a lot of the times there is a pond close to their condo where we would go and feed bread to the ducks, which you're not supposed to feed bread to ducks. Because it upsets their tummies.
Yeah, well, maybe not in the 90s. It didn't upset their tummies because we did it all the time. In this new America of science, they determined that bread is so bad for ducks.
I mean, but it is. We didn't know. I do like the added touch when they're saying bye to Grandpa. Marge grabs Maggie's arm so she could wave goodbye to him. Which,
I mean.
That's what you do with babies. Babies don't know how to wave goodbye. That's a good touch. I like that.
Yeah. All right. So Lisa and Bart and Homer, as they're driving away, describe what Grandpa smells like. And I think it was Lisa that said, like in the trunk in the garage where the bottom is all wet. And then Lisa was like, no, it's more like a photo lab. And Homer's like, no, it's more like the hallway in a hospital.
I don't think we ever discussed what our grandparents smelled like.
No, I think it was more of the rooms of a house. Like, I've been to a lot of different elderly homes.
Yeah.
And it's more the house. It's what the house smells like.
But they specifically
the people that live in it.
But they specifically say what Grandpa smells like.
Yes. Yep. And maybe it's because he lives in an old folks home. Then maybe it's a separated smell. Like the old folks home just smells like an old folks home, whereas the person has a unique smell as opposed to your grandparents living in an actual house or condo and going there, where the home is going to have this smell, but not necessarily the person has the smell. Yeah.
So as they're making, I was going to say, as they're making fun of Grandpa's smell, Marge reminds Homer that they'll be old one day. And Homer kind of freaks out a little bit and asks kids if they would throw him into the home. They go, well, I mean, I would definitely see Bart and Lisa throwing Homer to an old folks home.
Well, yeah, who wants to deal with that?
Yeah, I
But but it is but it is funny as we'll get to it in all the flash forward episodes. It seems like the Simpsons still the Marge and Homer still live in their house.
yeah,
So
there are a few. Aren't there a few future flash forward episodes where like Homer and Marge are like divorced, but they get back together, and
I don't think there's any of those. I think they're still together, just living in the house.
we'll have to pin that. And yeah, I'm pretty sure if our dad outlives our mom, once he gets to that point, I don't really want to take care of him.
No, he is untakeable.
I mean, he can take care of himself right now. Don't get me wrong. However,
no, he can't.
What? Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can.
No, mom had to convince him to go to the hospital to get the surgery.
That
He
is
can't
true.
Take care of himself.
Fair enough. All right. So continue on.
Yeah. So, the Simpsons decide, well, Grandpa, we need to spend more time with him in quality ways,
Yes.
and so they decide, where should we take him? They all give out their ideas, and Lisa says,
No, no,
or
no.
I guess was Marge mentioning it that
I think it was
Springfield
Homer.
mystery spot? Or
No, it was Homer. It was Homer.
Okay. Homer says, "Yeah, we'll take him to the Springfield mystery spot," and Lisa just says, "It's a mud puddle."
But is it?
I want to see. I want to see the Springfield mystery spot.
We do see the Springfield mystery spot at Homer at the Bat.
Ooh. Oh, wait. Are you talking about the hole in the ground?
Yeah, that's the Springfield mystery spot.
Oh, I guess I didn't know that was the actual name of it.
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to make sure. We'll make sure. We'll put a pin in that and just double check and make sure. So the Simpsons pass a billboard that says "Discount Lion Safari." So real, you think you've driven to Africa.
Which you can't unless you're in Africa.
You
Well, I suppose, is there... I think you can get to Africa from the Middle East, can't you?
Yeah, so you would have to drive up through Alaska, across the ice into
Russia.
Russia, and then drive straight down into Europe, and then through... I mean, I guess off the top of my head, I can't remember which countries touch Egypt, but I know for a fact Israel does, so I guess you go through Israel.
Yeah, the Middle
into
East.
Egypt. And, yes. Well, I don't know which countries in the Middle East touch.
Well, you drive through Israel.
Touch Egypt.
Drive through Israel.
Yeah, Israel works.
Yeah.
And then you wind up in Africa, so it's a very long drive. The billboard should have said, "You think you've taken a really long drive to Africa."
Yeah. So as we mentioned before, so they decide they'll take him to the lion safari, and we cut back, and Grandpa is in his room, and he puts the beef jerky in his drawer, and he's all worked up about it. He goes to get his pills, and Grandpa, the nurse is like, "Here you go, Mr. Simmons," and that's not his last name. His last name is Simpson.
So obviously the people that work for the Springfield Retirement Castle are extremely smart.
Yes. Very, very, very smart.
Because they mix up I wonder how often they mix up the pills. I mean, if at this point they thought he was Simmons, has Grandpa been getting Simmons' pills this entire time? But he seems like he knows his cocktail.
Yeah, he's
seems like all the old folks know their cocktail of medicine.
Which is good. You want to know what you're supposed to be getting. And this is where we meet Beatrice Simmons, because it's her pills that Grandpa gets. And she is voiced by Audrey Meadows, who is Alice Cramden on The Honeymooners. For all of you people who've actually watched The Honeymooners, I was hoping she did something in the mid 90s when she was old, but there was nothing there. And I'm like, I've heard of The Honeymooners. I've seen like an episode. And I guess I wonder what
drew these guys to choose her. I mean, obviously needed an old woman to do an old woman voice, maybe. But I wonder what drew them to her.
I don't know.
To do the voice.
I couldn't tell you. So
it seems kind of weird.
So Grandpa introduces himself as Abraham J. Simpson. And my question, do we know what that J stands for?
Maybe it's like Homer J or Bart J. Simpson. Maybe everyone's middle name in...
Wait. Bart's middle name is J?
Yeah, well, technically, we don't learn that yet for quite a few more seasons.
I don't remember this at
Because
all.
in the Hibby episode, that's where we learn Homer's
This is
middle name is J,
J.
because he never knew what the J stood for either.
It literally
But
stands
not
for
like it's written,
J.
not like it's written on your driver's license, birth certificate, passport, some credit
What?
cards, I guess.
Hold on.
But apparently Homer never knew what the J stood for.
So my license only has the middle initial, and I'm pretty sure my passport has the same thing.
Really? Both of mine have middle names.
Nope,
That's weird. Maybe it's a state by state thing.
yeah, because my Wisconsin driver's license only has the A on it. Now maybe my passport has my middle name on it. I'd have to find my passport, and I know my social security card has my middle name. So, but maybe he only like knew the middle initial, and when Grandpa would yell at him, he'd be like, "Oh, Homer J. Simpson." And Homer didn't process the fact that Jay was actually his middle name because Homer is dumb. Because like when you and I, when we got in trouble, Mom you would use our full freaking name. That's how we knew we were in trouble. I think every kid goes through that. So
I think it's anyone born in the or living through the 60s and 70s. Maybe that was like a time frame thing.
maybe.
Not necessarily a cuz I don't know if I'll okay, if I want to yell at my kid, it's not going to take me time. I'm not going to waste the time to do all three. I'm not going to waste it. Seems like a waste of time to say your full name.
But here's the thing. But here's the thing. It makes him know that they're in trouble.
Oh, does it?
I knew I was in trouble when Mom used my full name. You knew.
Yeah.
Don't pretend you didn't know.
Yep. Yeah, but we're lazy now. We're in the 2020s now. We're gonna get even more extremely lazy. So Abe. So Grandpa and Beatrice, upon meeting, they sit down at a table, and B's like, "So tell me about yourself." And Grandpa's like, "Widower, one son, one working kidney, and you?" And B's like, "Widowed, bad hip, and liver disorder." So apparently, old people tell them about each other by their kids and mental or physical disabilities.
So I do like the fact that as we are all Simpsons fans, because why would you be listening to us if you're not? Unless you enjoy our content, which fair. Our content is very enjoyable. Sorry, I'm just gonna pat ourselves on the back. But as Simpsons fans, we know that Abe is not a widower.
Yep.
But we also know he has 2 sons.
Yeah, so for the wife thing, I mean, Abe Simpson does hate Mona with a passion, so maybe in his mind, he just wants to wish she was dead.
Okay, that's fair.
For the son thing, that is kind of weird because we just learned that they just met, and maybe, just maybe, Abe was like, stupid kid. Homer lost all this dude's money. He's not my son anymore.
That's fair.
But as we learn in a future episode, he does come back. So, I mean, I guess the wife thing, yeah, I think I get that because
I get that.
You just met B, but the kid thing, kind of 50-50 on that one.
And I wrote this down. So as they're sitting there, they're flirting with each other by seductively eating their medication. God, I can't talk. And I was just like, why? Why is this? I don't want to see this. What?
I know. I thought that was really unnecessary, especially since they seem to both like each other anyway. But they did the whole like arms loop drinking the water to take down their medicine thing. I mean, that's pretty romantic when people do the whole wine thing, but the whole medication thing, yeah, that was quite odd. So Abe got a date.
Woo! Abe's got a date.
His seduction of medication worked. So so he goes to his room and he's getting all ready and he pulls out his Lucky Lindy's all-purpose pomade, and the slogan is "You'll never fly solo again." So that stuff must have smelled really good to get all the ladies.
Yeah.
Or makes you look really good.
But then he finds out
he's completely out.
And he spits in his hand and uses spit as hair gel. And I gotta say, that's disgusting. I mean, he is an old person,
Yeah,
but that's
old
just
people.
so gross.
Yeah,
So,
old people.
so
They
he,
like doing gross things.
yeah, so he goes and picks up B, and they go dancing. They dance to the Larry Davis Dance King, also known as the Larry Davis Experience, a scene in The Way We Was in Some Enchanted Evening. And then we see a montage of Abe and B. They're dancing, they're feeding the birds, they share a milkshake, and then they walk on the beach. And I write this or did you write this? Springfield has a beach. I think I wrote that.
That was you. That was you. Okay, so we do know that Springfield does have a boardwalk.
Okay.
They do have a boardwalk which usually has a beach associated with it. Now, depending on where they live, which we haven't found out yet, there are certain states with lakes big enough to support a beach. Minneapolis has one. We have Lake Calhoun that has actually two beaches on it. So, I mean, obviously it's all imported sand and, it's more built to be beachy.
Yeah.
The water, yeah, looked pretty substantial. Like you can't see straight across it where most, I guess, majority of every lake in the United States you can physically see across it except for maybe Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
So, think of it like that. Maybe it's a lake like Lake Michigan that has a beach. I mean,
Okay.
we were not an ocean. We lived in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So yeah, so maybe we could start narrowing this stuff down a little bit. We have to find states with lakes big enough to support a beach where you can't physically see across the water
Yeah.
to the next spot of land. Grandpa Simpson rolls into Herman's antique shop because what better place to search for gifts for an old lady than a antique military shop? And Herman calls Abe Grandpa. I, I mean, seems kind of weird, but that's how
Yeah.
he's known across the town, apparently.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then Herman's like, maybe you should shop over at Grandma's World for a more suitable gift.
For the old lady and all of us. That's
Yes,
the tagline for Grandma's World.
that. Yep. And it's good that they have a place like that
Yeah.
because the Springfield has some odd shops in it.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, as you mentioned, Marge calls Grandpa Dad,
Yeah.
which, to be fair, that's a typical. I guess I'm sure at some point the age drops out of that. I mean, I guess I don't call my mother-in-law or my
Ma-
father-in-law mom or dad.
yeah.
That seems rather weird. I know people that do it, like my wife's brother's fiance calls her mom, and they're not even married yet. And she was doing that forever, and it really freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because why? But everyone does things a little bit differently in their family.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. So they go pick up Abe, and he does not want to go to the safari because he's got a date with B. And I don't blame him. He doesn't want to go because he's got a date with B.
And it's her birthday. You can't ditch someone on their birthday.
Yeah. That's just I feel like this situation could have been well, no, because didn't Abe say he had a date and
Yep.
and
Well, he
Homer,
even told him it was B's birthday.
yeah,
But to be fair, Homer was like, "Oh, you have a date," and he looks around the room because he thinks the person's invisible,
yeah,
which that's kind of mean. But Homer thinks his father is not appealing to women.
no,
And why would you want to look at your old father in that light anyway?
no, yeah. So Grandpa is kicking the seat, and he can't open the childproof backseat doors, and he just really doesn't want to be there.
Nope. And I like how it's funny. Homer turns around, "Hey, would you stop kicking my seat?" And Bartley's like, "That's not us."
It's me. It was me all along.
Yep. And yeah, Grandpa, I mean, as we learn, old people in Springfield are very frail and weak and can't perform simple tasks.
Yeah.
So they head to the Discount Lion Safari. And I love how they have a sign that says, "If you could find a cheaper lion, you must be in Africa." Well, to be fair, if you see a lion in Africa, it's free. Because
Yeah.
safari, like actual African safaris cost like $2 to $3 grand to go on. So
Okay. Yeah.
So the tagline doesn't necessarily make sense, but obviously if you live in Africa and are just driving around in the cities around you and you happen to see a lion,
Yeah.
I guess it's free, right?
Yeah.
And on the drive there, I do like, or no, inside the park, Abe's just sarcastically asking, "Are we
We
in
in
Africa
Africa
yet?"
because he doesn't want to be there.
I know.
So Homer drives off the trail and the car gets stuck in mud and everybody is asking Bart to go push the car and he's like, "No way, man, cuz there's lions out there."
I do think it's funny that everyone thinks Bart should be the one to do it. Like he's expendable.
Yeah. Well, it's Bart. He's kind of a terrible kid. I mean, might as well
Yep,
use
and
that.
yep, and while Bart is while stuck in the car at the Discount Lion Safari, Bart does look at a lion directly in the eye, violating one of the entry rules.
Interesting.
Yep. Bart is maybe that's why they're like, Bart, you're the one that stared at the lion. You go out and deal with them.
Yeah.
You broke the rules. Go.
Yeah. So the car also has a bumper sticker, "I brake for animals," which I guess is good because you're at a Discount Lion Safari.
Yeah, I kind of wonder where they got that sticker. I wonder if it was at the Discount Lion Safari and they just slapped it on their bumper, or if they've had that on there all along and we've never seen it.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny that they have that bumper sticker on their car when we've never seen bumper stickers on their car before.
Yeah. I got nothing
And
to
then,
add to that.
yeah. So the lion somehow managed to kill a zebra and put it on the hood of the car to eat. Now, to be fair, this is a Discount Lion Safari, and we were at one of these. Okay, it wasn't a Discount Lion Safari, but we were at a drive-through safari in Florida, which
Yeah.
was kind of cool, and that's kind of how I saw this episode when I watched it.
Yeah.
And the lions of all the animals, so the zebras, gazelles, all the animals, the lions were obviously in their own fenced off
Oh
area
yeah.
that you basically drove around.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're lions. If you have gazelles and zebras and other African animals running around, you probably shouldn't have the lions running around, even though it would make it more interesting.
Yeah.
I always say at the zoo, man, put a gazelle in with the lions, man. They'll be so much more interesting if you do that.
Also, don't
But
forget this is a Discount Lion Safari, so
I guess they didn't put the fences in. So maybe they just had to keep going to Africa to get more zebras to fill their safari. Because what's more authentic than lions killing their own food?
yeah. I mean, you're right, but still,
So they went on a hunt and got a lion and brought it back to the Simpsons car. And I did write down that lions usually don't sleep at night.
interesting.
Lions are a nocturnal hunting animal.
Well, you have a cat. When does your cat usually sleep?
During the day, all day. He's
Ah,
usually up and running around at night. I mean, every once in a while, I'm sure he takes a nap somewhere in the house at night, but normally he is very active in the night hours,
interesting.
trying to get into the room and climb under our covers and annoy the crap out of us by scratching on our door. Yes, cats are very nocturnal animals. Now, as they get more domesticated, yes, they do tend to kind of go on our schedule. So what we learned when we got the cat is he was very active at night, and then as he got older, they almost kind of flip onto the human schedule,
Uh,
where okay, your owners are sleeping at night, we need to sleep at night, day will be open. But my cat sleeps most of the day anyway, and isn't really running around, but you could still see him pretty active in the nighttime.
yeah.
So I did think it was kind of weird that the lions were sleeping at night, but once again, maybe that's more of a domesticated thing. Sun goes down, everyone's gone, they sleep at night.
Yeah.
But I do like how they last all night at the zoo, like like that. No one came looking for them. Like the one car that was missing at the end of the day, no one went looking for them. They had to spend the night in the lion safari. But the next morning, the zookeeper, I guess you would call him, or safari keeper, comes with a shotgun, scares away all the lions,
Yeah.
and rescues the Simpsons.
Yes, he does. I mean,
And
they
so,
probably
yep,
figured they went missing because they didn't come out.
yeah. Oh, exactly. You come the next morning, you're like, you know that one car that never came? Maybe we should go look for him. So they get back to the old folks' home, and you see an ambulance, and everyone's standing outside, and we learn that B passed away.
And then I left. What was
Yep,
it? The left ventricle burst.
yep, the left ventricle burst. But
Eh,
we all know,
she died of a broken
it was a
heart.
broken heart because Abe ditched her to go to a lion safari.
He
Okay, that's
did.
not true.
That's not
He
true.
got forced to go to the lion safari.
So
Maybe you could have just went over to B's room, knocked on her door, and be like, "Hey, you know what? I'll be there for your birthday party at night, but my moron family wants to take me to a discount lion safari."
maybe. So I asked. You didn't really answer my question. I asked, why are old people allowed to be pallbearers?
Well, because she cared for Abe, so you only make the people you hate be your pallbearers because you have
But
to carry the casket.
but why are the old people the pallbearer? Not I didn't ask why isn't Abe. I asked why are old people pallbearers, because
Well, normally
they're
it's your
old.
family. Well, normally it's your family that would do it, but maybe she didn't have a family because apparently, I mean, if you kind of look at her situation, it doesn't seem like she had any family coming to visit her on the regular at the old folks' home. So maybe she only had the people at the old folks' home to be the pallbearers.
You couldn't get like some of the nurses to be pallbearers to help hold up the coffin?
Nah, they don't. They don't pay enough. You don't pay the old folks' home enough to make them pallbearers.
So Grandpa's very upset and yells at Homer for making him miss B's last moments on Earth and says, "I have no son." But technically, he still has another son, but he forgot about him, apparently.
Which he doesn't want to talk to. Well, he
Yeah.
doesn't want to talk to him because he has no money.
Yeah,
Hey, do you like Cards Against Humanity?
I sure do.
Well, what if you could play Cards Against Humanity Simpson style?
That would be amazing.
Well, now you can. Check out cardsagainstthesimpsons.com to buy your very own set of Simpsons Against Humanity.
You know, I see a lot of podcasts give out discount codes. Is there a promo code I could use?
There sure is. Use promo code SimpsonsPod. That's SIMPSONSPOD to receive a 10% discount on Cards Against Humanity, the Simpsons way.
Ay caramba, that's a good deal. But for all of our listeners out there, if you want a better deal, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook to get a different promo code to save even more.
That is correct. So head over to Facebook, the Simpsons Did It page, Instagram, Simpsons Did It Pod, and Twitter, Simpsons Did It PC to get that code. And as always, everything's coming up Millhouse. Now you get Abe back in his room, sulking over the loss of B, and Lionel Hutz comes busting in the room.
Yep.
And apparently he's B's executor of state, which, to be fair, shyster lawyers do go to old folks' homes.
Yeah.
And now the only lawyer we know that actually doesn't take advantage of old folks and actually works for them is Mr. Saul Goodman.
Correct.
He takes care of the old folks, but all the other shyster lawyers out there, they just want to take all the old people's money because they know they don't have much time. They might not have family to work with, and they're like, you know what, easy target, which is kind of sad. But B did leave Abe $106,000, and if she had that kind of money, what is she doing in the old folks' home, man?
I mean, okay, this is 1990. What did I say? One?
Yeah.
$106,000 in 91 is probably going to take you very far, but maybe she had no other place to go and she couldn't really take care of herself. So she decided, I want to stay in Springfield. The only place in Springfield I could live where I don't have to take care of myself is the retirement castle. So I guess I'm going to go there. She could have hired what is it called? It's a nurse, she could have hired a live-in nurse.
Yeah, like she could have stayed at an actual in her home or something, maybe apartment, maybe a small condo. If she had this kind of money and was collecting Social Security or whatever, I feel like she wouldn't necessarily have to live there.
Yeah.
Unless you like the company, the people, and I mean that's really all I could think why she would have lived there if she had that kind of money.
Yeah.
And so Hutz has a new business card. It's a pen that looks like a cigar. So obviously Lionel Hutz does keep up with replacing his business cards with new business cards every once in a while, but they're never really business cards.
Yeah,
They're all gimmicky. They're very, very gimmicky.
he is.
And so the shakedown. So at the retirement castle, he oh no, I'm sorry, Mr. Hazelwood, the retirement home administrator,
Yeah.
and he comes and he said, "Let me assure you that
Oh.
here at Springfield Retirement Castle, money does make a difference. I mean, there are rub downs, and then there are rub downs."
That's gross. Gross coming from, yeah.
Well, so obviously the guy overheard that Abe got the money, and he wanted to make sure that he got some of it if he was going to stay in the retirement castle. Which, okay, so if he's coming to shake down Abe, how come he didn't shake down B for the money? Or do you only do it to the men?
Maybe just the men.
Because you might feel bad if you did it to a little old lady.
Exactly. So Grampa goes to Herman's Antiques, buys the fez, which, come on, was not worth $400. Leaves his hat.
I doubt it was really worn by Napoleon either.
Well, as we learned, Grandpa leaves his hat there, and Herman's like, "This is the hat McKinley was shot in. Just came in," and I'm like, "Wait, no, that's Abe Simpson's hat."
Yep. I mean, I do like the fact that the first thing Grandpa buys with the inheritance is the Napoleon hat.
Yeah. So then, as we see throughout the rest of the episode, Grandpa wears the fez, which is hilarious.
Yep, in honor of B.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he wants to honor B's money.
Yep.
And so Grandpa goes to Club Mud to spend some money, and he goes parasailing. And it seems kind of weird that he did that, but he doesn't like any of it. He doesn't like any of the things that he did with B's money. He just wasn't having fun. Well, think of it like this. He wanted to use that money, which apparently he didn't know she had, with B as opposed to because she gave him the money.
Yeah. So then after all that, he goes to Disneyland, not affiliated with Disneyland, Disney World, or anything else from the Walt Disney Company. And I saw that and I was like, now granted, this is a 30-year-old joke, but it did not age well. Because now it's affiliated with all that. They should have, I don't know how hard it would be to go, I'm assuming the reels and all the animation stuff. I'm wondering how hard it would be to actually go back into that episode and reanimate just that portion.
No. You don't want to do that stuff. It's kind of like taking the gun. It's kind of like taking the guns out of E.T. or whatever they took out of Jurassic Park and Star Wars and all that. You don't want to re-edit all that stuff.
So this is kind of like South Park, where it's like they re-edited everything to have walkie-talkies.
Exactly. You just don't want to have to do that because it's kind of funny. But now that we know, it is hilarious that they made this joke in 91.
Yep.
They made the future prediction that Disney bought Fox.
Yeah.
Or bought The Simpsons in a future episode.
Yeah.
And it's funny that those two things, that you have something like this that they're not associated with Disney, then you make the joke that they are associated with Disney.
Yeah.
So it is funny how maybe I doubt they did, but maybe they looked back at this joke and then they made the new joke. I guess I don't know. Or at the time, maybe Disney was buying up all these properties and they were like, okay, it'd be really funny if The Simpsons were owned by Disney.
Yeah, it would be.
So B visits Abe on a roller coaster, and obviously she notices that Abe isn't having any fun with her money.
And Abe asks, I love how Abe asks, "Are you here to haunt me?"
Yeah. She's like, no, they, God or the devil, wherever she is, is having her at haunting a family in Texas. So now we know Springfield is not in Texas.
By the way, by the time we get through all this, we're going to find out that Springfield isn't in any state, by the way. Just like to point that out.
How do you know? You don't know that.
Because they've come out and said that Springfield's not, it's not a real
We don't know that yet. Quiet, you. We're going to keep this up as long as it takes.
I do have to ask. So you know, B is there telling Abe how to spend the money, and he's able to hold her ghost hand.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. But I was also thinking back to Casper with Christina Ricci and Bill Pullman. I was looking back at that episode, I'm trying to remember if Casper became a little more, as a ghost, became a little bit more physical when, because remember they were dancing at the end of the episode, and I felt like he still was able to make a physical contact. But we also know that ghosts can throw objects around the room.
Okay.
We can't see them, but my guess would be is if they can, unless they're using psychic powers. Well, I guess
Yeah.
that's what we don't know. We don't know, are they using psychic powers to throw stuff around, or are they physically grabbing objects because they've made themselves mad enough or whatever to physically grab an object and huck it?
Maybe.
I guess I don't know 100%. I know everyone has their theories. There's a lot of different theories out there, and I know I read a couple. I think it was Dean Koontz books where a kid was basically saw ghosts and was allowed, if they got mad enough, they were allowed to physically interact with their world.
Maybe.
But I guess I can't see B being angry enough to interact with Abe, but it's a cartoon. We'll let it slide.
Yeah.
So Abe, or I guess we learn from that interaction that Abe really does miss Homer, and then we flash to the Simpsons house and we see Homer really misses his dad.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, that's touching. I mean, it's, your dad literally told you he had no son, and now you kind of realize, oh my God, I do miss him.
Yeah.
So Marge comes in and says, maybe you should call Dr. Marvin Monroe's anxiety line. And so there are 3 sections on Dr. Marvin Monroe's phone menu.
Yeah.
And the third one is for people who are having trouble maintaining an What do you think that is for if you're calling it an anxiety hotline?
I don't know.
An action?
Sure. We'll go with that.
Come on, that's the joke. He's like, press 1 for this, press 2 for this, and then the last one is for people having trouble maintaining an
Oh.
and then Homer hangs up.
I missed that part.
That's the joke.
Gotcha.
Come on.
I'll keep up.
Yeah, keep up. There's jokes everywhere in The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And so Abe announces he's giving the money away. And Bart tells Grampa to give it to them. And Abe tells Homer no. Because, Homer's like, wow, that silly kid. What are you thinking asking your grandpa for money? Well,
Yeah.
while we're on the subject.
Yeah.
And so I think you wrote down, who wrote Grandpa Simpson?
That was from the newscast.
Oh, that's right. That's where we're at. Okay, I was wondering why you wrote Grandpa. And so, as you wrote that, I found out. So throughout the entire episode,
Yeah.
it is Grandpa Simpson. It's spelled like that. Even with B, it's Grampa Simpson. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the writers were necessarily thinking. If it's a misspelling or it's the joke. It's pronounced Grandpa Simpson, not Grandpa Simpson.
Yeah.
So I just wonder if that was the joke or if they spelt it that way for a specific.
I have no idea. I wrote that down because I was like, well, why is it Grandpa and not Grandpa?
Yeah. So I don't know if it was a spelling mistake or just the way the writers wanted to do it. Yeah. So we get down to the old folks' home and we have Kent Brockman's speech. So not since this reporter's marriage to Stephanie, the weather lady. So we know that he was married to the weather lady.
Yeah.
Has this town been so consumed with rumor and innuendo? Today, one Abraham Grampa Simpson announced that he will give away over $100,000 to the person or persons he finds most deserving. Is Grandpa Simpson a modern-day saint? A rich nut? or both. And then he gets in
Well,
line in the back of the line with the rest of the people hunting
so,
for money.
which is kind of unethical for a reporter to do while he's still on air. I do also like the fact that as they're panning across the line, you see Darth Vader, Mayor Joe Quimby, and the Joker, and then somebody dressed up in a Star Trek uniform.
Yep. So was it cosplay or were they actually going for
I don't know.
it?
I don't know.
And I didn't do it. Sometimes I do this when I rewatch episodes. I pause and go back just to see. But
Yeah.
did you happen to catch if it was Nicholson Joker or
It was just
a
it was just a Joker-esque. It was probably Nicholson Joker if I had to guess, but it was just the Joker.
yeah. I do think that was kind of funny. And why does Mayor Quimby need the money? I wish they would have done that. That would have been kind of funny.
So we go into Grandpa Simpson's room, and Otto's in there, but in the next person in line is Jacques.
Well, he was a really horrible bowling instructor. He needed the money.
And then after Otto, we get Burns and Smithers, and Burns is begging for Abe to give him the money, and Abe's like, "Wait, you're Mr. Burns. You don't need the money."
Yep, and Burns is like, Mr. Simpson, I dread the day when $100,000 isn't worth groveling for. So he doesn't need the money, but
he'll grovel for it
really
anyways.
Wants the money.
Yeah, and then and then Mo comes in and he's like, "I got this map, and we don't know, but we need the money." And Abe's like, "I'm intrigued. You're the front runner."
Yep. Yeah, that was pretty funny that Mo's mystery hunt for treasure is the front runner, which, hey, old people will throw their money at something stupid.
Yeah.
And so then we get Marvin Monroe, who needs to buy a baby for his machine. I do like that he goes in there thinking, or Abe is thinking he needs the money to build the machine. He's like, no, that's already built. I just need to buy a baby.
So you don't really need the money to buy a baby. Just find a baby. But I didn't write this down in the notes. But the
baby, I don't think that's very ethical for a doctor to do, just to go out and find a baby.
So the whole point of Dr. Marvin Monroe's box is based off of another scientific experiment. I didn't write it down because I figured most Simpsons fans, because I didn't get it, would understand the test. Basically, you put a mouse in like a contraption and like you run like various mental tests on it. And that's the whole point of what Marvin Monroe was showing to Abe. Oh, so okay. just a little fun science fact. You know, that's
so then we get more fun science
with Professor
from our first appearance of Professor Frink.
Yeah.
Who wants funding for a death ray. So they really changed this character, I think.
So originally they wanted him to be like a mad scientist, and then I believe it's Azaria does the voice for him, and he did more of a not Ray Lewis, Jerry Lewis impression, which is why they decided to go the Jerry Lewis route with Professor Frink.
Gotcha. And he says he has a wife. But in the future episodes, he appears to be single. So was it his just kind of nut jobbiness of being a mad scientist, or does he actually have a family life?
Yeah.
But did he say, I like how he says, yeah, my wife really didn't want me to make a death ray anyway, or something weird like that. And I like how he says the Ray's applications were always meant to be evil. I mean, what kind of...
It's a death ray. Of course it's evil. I mean, I guess you could.
Who you want to kill.
I suppose. I guess you could use a death ray for good, but is it really good? I guess it's chaotic good if you use a death ray to kill people that aren't good.
Maybe. I don't know.
Lisa's next.
I guess it depends on the type of scientist.
Lisa's next, and guess what? She wants a pony.
Yep, she's gonna keep trying for this pony.
Yep.
Until she gets a pony.
So Grandpa's had enough. He decides to walk through the bad part of Springfield, and he ends up at a diner which resembles the 1942 painting Nighthawks, which, for any of you who don't understand that reference, they also do it in a few other shows. The one that specifically came to my mind was that 70s show when Red and,
that 70s show.
where Red and Kitty go to the one restaurant and it turns out not to be the Lion's Head, and then they go to the pub and that's the same reference. I think they've done it. I think they did it in Family Guy. I think they referenced that in Family Guy as well. So,
but my guess is
it's a very
Simpsons did it first.
It's a very famous painting, and I haven't seen the painting for myself, but I've seen like pictures of the painting. So,
yep. But I'm wondering, did the Simpsons do it? Were they the first show to make the painting reference?
I think
and everyone
so.
else copied them.
Probably.
Might be a Simpsons did it moment, folks.
Simpsons did it.
Simpsons always did it. So obviously Simpson Abraham was there to see if the downtrodden could use the money more than him. And I think he just learned that amount of money wasn't going to change much in that way. And so Jasper convinces him to go to a casino and try to double and even triple his money. Cause that's what old people do. They like going to the casino.
So the seniors are on the bus, and we got Otto driving the bus to the casino.
Yep. So because Otto drives the charter bus for the seniors casino junket, to stop his passengers from complaining, he threatens, "Hey, mellow out, old dudes, or I'll jam this baby into a river."
Jeez, I do like the fact that they cross the state line. Because it says state line 1 mile, casino 1 mile and 1 foot. So gambling is not allowed in the state that Springfield is in. And no, there is not a single state in the continental or intercontinental United States that doesn't allow, or that does. Every state allows gambling.
Okay, you were sure on that.
Yes, unless
even Utah.
I think it's possible Utah doesn't. Hold on.
All right, you check that out. So we get to the casino and we see that Phil Hartman voices Plato, and the casino is called Plato's Republic, and the casino, a mammoth structure in the middle of nowhere, where Homer stops Grampa from losing his fortune. It looks like the Parthenon, except it's covered in neon and light bulbs. It claims to have the loosest slots in town. So that's definitely a casino I like to go to because I've played the slots and they're not very friendly.
No, they're not. Although when we took our trip to Detroit, we did pretty good at the casino.
Yeah. Well, I like playing roulette. That's where I got my chance.
Which is like the worst game you could play.
Yeah, but as we learned, Grandpa's good at it. I'm good at it. Maybe it just takes the right type of person to be good at roulette, because it's all magical and what's that word I'm looking for? You can see everything coming.
So it looks like Hawaii. It is so they're a type of legal gambling in states and territories, commercial, Native American, racetrack, all that. Hawaii does not allow charitable gambling, pari mutual gambling, which I don't know what the heck that is. They don't have lotteries. They don't have commercial gambling. Tribal gambling, that data is not available. They don't have racetracks. They don't have online, and they don't have sports betting. So Hawaii seems to have the only state to not have any. Oh, and Utah. Utah does not have any form.
See?
Utah and Hawaii are the only two states that don't have any type of legal gambling.
Okay, so the Simpsons are from Utah. We figured it out.
But I don't think we did, because I'm pretty sure they visit Utah.
Oh, all right. We'll put a pin in it for now. Utah is our top prospect for where the Simpsons are from.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get to Grampa at the roulette table, and Homer runs in, and he tries to stop him.
Yeah.
And Grampa gives his speech quoting the poem "If" by Rudyard Kipling, which I don't know that.
And yes, the writers love old references.
They do. They have dipped in the first 1.5 seasons, or slightly over 1.5 seasons that we've done so far. Their references are pretty old.
Yeah.
I can't wait to kind of see where their references kind of change. Maybe they either got over the old references or because it was,
Well, they probably got new writers in the room that were
yeah.
younger, and they're like, well, these references are really, really, really outdated. Let's use newer ones.
Yep. And so, as you wrote, roulette is a dangerous game. And Homer stops Abe from losing all of his money. And Abe says for the first time in his life that he's glad he had children.
Children.
So, yeah. I
Plural.
mean, maybe it could have been a slip of the tongue. Or he, you know, liked the fact that he had a second half son, or
Because
I
he
guess
could
a
have
full son,
easily,
I suppose.
he could have easily said, for the first time in my life, I'm glad that I had a child and not I
Yep.
had children. So either the Simpsons writers screwed up or they did all this intentionally.
They can't keep their minds straight when they're writing this episode.
Yeah.
Well, there were, okay, so to be fair, there were two writers on this episode, Jay Kogan and Wallace Wolodarski.
Okay.
So maybe they should check each other's notes while writing the episode.
Yes. So after that, after Homer saves Abe, Abe decides he's going to give the money back to the old folks' home. They got a huge TV that has Itchy and Scratchy on it, and
But
they're
Itchy and Scratchy were like old people. They had mustaches and
Oh.
beards, and I think if I'm not, I'd have to go back and check. But I think they were actually beating each other with a cane and a walker,
oh,
not a hammer and a mallet.
interesting. And they also had a pool table, and they had nice recliners, and you know, $106,000 will get you a lot of stuff.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh, there was. Oh, we'll get to it at the end. I'm going to get to it at the end.
Yes.
But so I can't remember the retirement home was always as run down as it was when they went over that kind of changing all the rooms and how they looked. I mean, I knew it wasn't the best place to live, but I can't remember if it was in all the shots we've seen.
It didn't look run down from all the shots we've seen, but don't forget, like they also did a 6-month time lapse, and I don't know, it's a retirement home. Not all retirement homes are in good standing.
No, and we all saw that the owners of the retirement home are short on cash because they're trying to get it from all their residents. Yeah. And so before we close it, I did want to point out one thing. I found the list of everyone that was waiting in line for Grampa's money.
Oh, okay.
So in the line there was Jacques.
Yep.
Dr. Hibbert.
Okay.
Blue-haired stranger. Apu. Mrs. Krabappel. Mr. Largo.
Yep.
Krusty. Nelson. The master sushi chef from the Happy Sumo.
Okay.
Emily Winthrop. Princess Cashmere.
Okay.
Sideshow Mel.
Yep.
Darth Vader.
Yep.
The Lovejoys.
Okay.
Mayor Quimby. The Joker. A Trekkie. Ned and Maude Flanders. Principal Skinner. Kent Brockman. And Barney.
Yeah, because Barney came in last.
Yep.
So
that was the full list of everyone that needed.
So now here's the question. So you have Ned and Maude, and you have the Lovejoys. What were they going to ask Abe to do with because Ned would have probably been like, oh, we need to use this for the church, or oh, we need to, you should donate this charity. But what are I'm assuming the Lovejoys would probably be like, can we just have the money for the church?
Yep. And the master chef from the sushi, Happy Sumo, obviously wanted the money for Mrs. Krabappel.
Oh,
they're gonna get married.
Yeah.
You know that. No, well, Mrs. Krabappel was also in the line, so who knows what she wanted the money for.
I got to imagine the Joker reference has to be a kind of cosplay thing, because I don't think it would be in Joker's character to stand in line to try to get money.
Nope, he would kidnap Grandpa, torture him, take the money, and then burn it.
Exactly. So it was probably just a throwaway gag. Darth Vader obviously needs the money because, he's got to build a new Death Star.
Yeah, they all keep getting blown up.
Darn those Skywalkers. Anyways, so we get to the end credits, and this is the only episode that I can remember. And I also looked this up because I saw it and then I watched the credits. But this is the only episode where the end credits show you who voiced which characters. So as far as I know, we'll have to watch through the credits now. But as far as I know, this is the only episode to have done that.
Yeah, I can't remember any other episodes doing that. Not even the first episode did that.
Nope.
So
I
don't
and I
know.
believe they did it because of Audrey Meadows.
Oh, you think so?
I believe so. I think that's what I read.
Oh, all right. Well, if anyone out there knows that knows a little bit more about The Simpsons than us,
Yep.
let us know. Shoot us an email, simpsonsdiditpod@gmail.com.
So
Let us know what you're thinking.
Speaking of thinking, what are you thinking for your final thoughts?
You know, I after watching this, I was really trying to come up with a good number. Like I really was. Like it's not a dough, but I almost want to give it a 2.
Interesting.
I like it just didn't grab me as much as all the other episodes do. I mean, yeah, it had some funny jokes in it, but it just didn't go like as fluidly as I would like the
Fair.
whole this is how we treat our grandpa. Oh, we treat him crappy.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's not a lot of families that would do that. And then it was, oh, we'll visit them once a month.
Yeah.
I don't know a normal family that lives in the same town that's the way. Yeah, maybe you visit them more than once and it's kind of some crappy thing you do every time, but at least you're visiting with them, spending time. I mean,
Yeah.
3 grandchildren. I feel like Grandpa Simpson would want to hang out with them more.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
then and then just the random, okay, he sort of dates this woman for X amount of time. They fall in love. Oh, she dies, and I don't know the money thing. I don't know. I'm gonna go with the 2. Remind
Okay.
me what it stands for because now
Eat my
I'm
shorts.
blanking.
Eat
Oh,
my
that's
shorts.
right. Eat my shorts.
No,
I'm
eat
gonna go
my
with the
shorts.
2. Eat my shorts.
It's not one of their best efforts. It kind of jumps around here and there. Some of the jokes are pretty funny. Uh it's not a good episode. uh
No, it's really not. Like just everything about it, the money stuff, and just I don't know even the Herman part of it, where he
yeah.
goes there the first time to buy a gift, just doesn't seem like a grandpa thing.
No, I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna give it a 2. It's not a dough, because some of the jokes land. You get
Yep,
Professor
and
Frink.
to be fair, the introduction of Professor Frink is good, and even the chalkboard gag has its
Yeah.
moments. So I don't think I don't think it's worth a dough, but
No,
I'm gonna go, yeah.
I'm gonna
2 seems fair.
2 seems fair. Eat my shorts. It's and like the fluidity of the episode, it just doesn't have a good flow to it.
No.
No.
So I think you have our answers, folks. If you have any other thoughts, feel free to message us on Facebook and Instagram or email us. We do like our minds to be changed sometimes. So if you could give us good feedback on why we should change our minds, we'll take it. We'll discuss your thoughts as well as
Yeah.
ours because we like feedback. So let's finish it out with our character profile. This week we have B. Simmons. Her identity is a resident at the Springfield Retirement Castle. Daily medication intake is substantial. Now, during the introductions of Grandpa and Beatrice, we don't learn all of her ailments. We know she has a liver disorder, but my guess
Yeah.
is she might have more troublesome things than that. Style in which she ingests her pills seductively. She must do it every time. No matter, maybe not even when no one's in the room. She just looks in a mirror and seductively takes all her pills.
Gross.
But I'd always thought in the old folks' home, but I always thought in the old folks' home, you had to take them in front of the nurse, so they made sure you were actually taking them, unless these guys are trustworthy.
Yeah.
So carries a torch for Grandpa Simpson.
Yeah.
Cause of death: a burst ventricle, or as some believe, a broken heart. And how Grandpa knew she really cared for him did not make him a pallbearer.
Yeah.
So, because you can't always have your loved ones carrying your casket because it is heavy. I think I was a pallbearer once. They're pretty heavy. Giant pieces of wood.
I believe for when our grandmother passed away, our dad's mom. I believe I was a pallbearer for that funeral, but I think that might have been the only time. So
Gotcha.
yes,
So,
caskets are heavy.
all right, guys. So why don't we close it out to let you know where you could find us? We're on Instagram at The Simpsons Did It Pod. We're on Twitter, Simpsons Did It PC. We're on Facebook, The Simpsons Did It Podcast. You can just search for our page and you'll be able to find us there. And YouTube, just search The Simpsons Did It Podcast and you'll find the episodes I've uploaded on there for you as well. And we also want to give a shout out to our good friends at 51 Yellows that made our headline, our header for our Facebook page. Fantastic guys. Head over to their website. I believe they're still doing their 70% off promotion for the holidays.
Yeah.
So go over there, submit your photos, submit your likeness, submit whatever you want. And they'll draw you up in wherever you want to be and make you all yellow, and it'll look gorgeous on your wall.
Gorgeous.
Until next time, I'm Steven Sklansky.
I'm Robert Sklansky.
And this has been The Simpsons Did It.
Shh.